Now we are going to move away from the lower board with the motor driver units and the module for the motor. Once again, I have left the backing on the bottom of this board. This black acrylic board is symmetrical. You could have mounted everything from this side on this side and everything on this side over to here. It has symmetry in that sense. This next acrylic board does not have symmetry. Notice there is a row of 3 holes on the right side. If you spin it, they're on the left side. In addition, there's holes to mount the Arduino board on this side, and if you were to spin it, that would be the incorrect side. So I have left the backing on the bottom, and we will be working with the black acrylic as the top side of this board. We will open the package that contains the Arduino unit itself. We will use the nuts and bolts that were left in the package specifically for the Uno board. And then we will install the shield onto the Uno board itself. Once again, check that you have the 3 holes to the right, and the Uno board is mounted with the plug-in connectors towards the left. We will take the bolts and pass them through the Arduino board, through the black acrylic board, and then on the bottom we will apply the nut. And once again, it's preferred to hand start the nuts. Notice on this black acrylic, the manufacturing process forgot the 4th hole. There is a 4th hole in the Arduino board itself that you can put a screw in, but there is no hole in the black acrylic, and the kit did supply us with the nut and bolt for it. If it is necessary to mount the 4th bolt, this 4th bolt can be added by putting in the 3 bolts and carefully running a drill in this hole to mark the acrylic board. Once the mark is made, these 3 bolts can be taken off, the board pulled away for safety, and finish completing the hole in the black acrylic. Once the hole is complete, the board can be put back on, and the 4th nut and bolt can be put in here. One last note, there is, as before, there is no standoffs for these bolts. It is using the leads of the components as standoffs. So do not apply much force to these bolts, as it will crack the circuit board and damage the Arduino. Now that we have the Arduino board secured to the acrylic base, we will take the shield and place it and plug it in to the Arduino board. Note there are markings on the top of the board that correspond with the markings on the Arduino board itself. So line up the pins on this one with the pin all the way to the end, and this pin all the way to this end. So this pin is all the way towards this side, this pin is all the way towards this side. It will leave two open connectors on the bottom, and on this end it will leave the one open connector. Press firmly to install the shield all the way in. Next, we will install the infrared module. It has its own packet of screws. And the infrared module itself. There are standoffs that are mounted through the board and securing a nut at the top of the board. Once the brass standoffs are in place, pass the bolt through the acrylic into the standoff from the bottom. Note that the infrared sensor has its connector away and the sensor itself towards. The sensor is facing the same direction as the two connectors on the board, and the connector on the infrared sensor is on the opposite side. There is a screwdriver, either the larger Phillips or the smaller Phillips that is supplied, will work to tighten down these screws. In the battery box itself is a connector that we will use to attach these wires. In the bag marked for cell box, we will find the nuts and bolts for the battery cells. To mount the battery cell box onto the acrylic base, making note that the wires are pointing towards the left.